Barcelona, they take on Bayern Munich on or tomorrow. Huge game. We know how big Barcelona and Bayern is. Two teams with huge European pedigree, huge European tradition. We're looking forward to it. A lot of storylines here. Robert Lewandowski taking on his former team Bayern. Not the first time he's done it. Uh, Not the first time he's taking on Bayern. Um, but but that's a story. That's a storyline there. Um, Hansi Flick taking on his former team for the first time as well. In Bayern Munich, we know he was managed by Germany, so you can't really play Bayern when you're managing an international team. So a huge element there. Both teams are currently sitting in a really good position in their league. Barcelona sitting top of their league, 3 points clear of Real Madrid, have 9 wins from 10. Absolutely sensational start to their season. As far as Bayern Munich, they're also sitting first in Bundesliga. They've had a really good start as well, scoring 24 goals in 7 games, only conceding 7 as well, having a 17 goal differential through 7 games. 5 wins from 7, 2 draws, 17 points, sitting top, tied with Leipzig. Good start for them when you take in the fact that that they lost the league title last season you know against an amazing Leverkusen team. To put in context, but we know that's not the standard of Bayern to not win Bundesliga. They win Bundesligas year in and year out. So not Real Madrid. These two teams coming in a high level, and we are really blessed. This is a great football week. We have Real Madrid taking on Dortmund, which ended up being an electric game tomorrow, or technically today because we're past midnight. We have Barcelona that's going to take on Bayern. And then this weekend we get, the champions, the El Clasico showdown between Barcelona and Real Madrid, which will be interesting to see how those two teams respond to these huge emotional midweek Champions League days. Because when you play a game like this midweek, there could be a little bit of an emotional letdown. But I think the fact that it's El Clasico of all games, that puts it out the window. I think the intensity and focus changes. But as far as this game, I think both teams really have an opportunity to show us what they've done this season hasn't been a fluke. These are two teams that they'll be playing their most difficult game of the season, to this point. Especially with Barcelona. Barcelona haven't really been tested. When I say tested, they've played some difficult opposition this season. They played Villarreal, which is they're a decent team, and they've had a few difficult tests here and there. And Bayern, they have taken on Bayern Leverkusen, which is also a very, very difficult test. But taking on Barcelona, going away to Barcelona as well. This game, yes, is not being played at the Camp Nou, but it's still being played in Spain. Still have the Barcelona crowd. I think it's a good test for Vincent Kompany's team to see how they respond to the pressure. How do they play against a team that's been really hot. Both of these teams have been so impressive this season. I really believe this is a heavyweight showdown. My thing is big test for Bayern. Defensively, we'll see if this team is really up to it. This is a Barcelona team so far this season that has scored 33 goals in 10 games. They're averaging more than 3 goals a game in La Liga. More than 3 goals a game in La Liga. They create a lot of opportunities. They have players playing at their top elite form. Robert Lewandowski has been amazing this season. Rafinha looks like a completely different player. We know the quality that Lamine Yamal provides. We know how strong this Barcelona unit is. This is a Barcelona team that's put in 5 past Sevilla, 3 past Alaves, 5 past Young Boys, 5 past Villarreal, 4 past Girona, 7 past Valladolid. They are able to create a lot of opportunities and they're able to score a lot of goals. Now, you're going up against a Bayern Munich team that first of all play a very, very open game and concede a lot of goals. Because of how open that they play, they've already conceded 7 goals this season, 7 goals in 7 games, which doesn't seem like a lot, but there, which doesn't seem like a lot. But again, for Bayern Munich, not the most strong team, especially when the defensive team, especially when you look at them against Frankfurt, against Wolfsburg, they can be open to play against, and if you're able to play, if you have the quality to get out of the initial line of pressure from Bayern Munich, the initial counter press that Bayern Munich do really, really well, and if you're able to play out of it and not squander possession, and you have an opportunity to go back against this Bayern Munich defense, there is number one. There, you can get at that back line. You can get at Kim Min-jae and Upamecano, who are defensively prone to making mistakes, and they're also put in a vulnerable position. Number one, they're not the greatest partnership. It's not the greatest center back partnership. Just as it is, Upamecano, Kim Min-jae is not that great of a partnership, just let alone. But the fact that how Vincent Kompany wants to play, how both fullbacks are pushed up high and they're split out, they have so much space that they have to cover, they have so much responsibilities, and the onus is on them defensively. You get out of that initial press, you have a lot of space and time that you can really kill off this Bayern Munich team. And Barcelona is the first team, Leverkusen as well, but Leverkusen, they couldn't really play out of the initial press. The quality was lacking when they played against Bayern. This Barcelona team, they'll be able to get out of that initial press. They are not going to suffocate. And they can get out of that Bayern Munich backline. It was Robert Lewandowski, Rafinha, Lamine Yamal. Huge test Bayern Munich for defensively as well. I think they'll be able to create and generate their opportunities as well against Barcelona. But I fear for Bayern Munich how they suffer defensively. Now the one issue with Barcelona is when you don't have that 6 and you're going up against a Bayern Munich team that can counter press that way that they do, I think Bayern Munich will be able to take advantage of that, because the key with playing out of that, press, getting out of that initial press, is having that 6 that's composed, that can dictate the tempo in midfield, that can make the right position, right pass at the right time. Does Barcelona get that going up against Bayern Munich? Are they able to? Who does Hansi Flick turn to in these situations? We've seen him go with a lot of different options as that holding midfielder when they lost Marc Casado, who we thought was going to be the answer. Against Sevilla, they played not Marc Casado, who's the one that I forgot the player that got injured. But we've seen against Sevilla, we saw Marc Casado and Pedri playing in that double pivot. I think that will probably be it. Against Alaves, it was Pedri and Marc Casado as well. I think they're very, very important. If they have the quality, and we know Pedri does, but if Casado can stay composed in those situations and not squander the ball in the possession, getting out initially, I think Barcelona could cause this Bayern Munich team some difficulties. I really do. And I'm looking forward to that. As far as Bayern Munich, the counter press has to be resilient. They have to pressure this Barcelona team and try to play the game in Barcelona's half. And when you win the ball, take advantage of the quality that you have with Kane, with Olise, with Gnabry. This is a team with some huge quality and ability as well. But you have to have a right balance in the way you go about it. If I'm Vincent Kompany, these are the sort of games going up away against Barcelona, you might want to take it down a little bit. You might want to push the back line just 5 yards. Give yourself a little bit of breathing space. You want to attack with your fullbacks, fine. But make sure there's an understanding. While one attacks, the other stays back. You don't want to put yourself in a position that both fullbacks are attacking and you're having to split out your center halves going away at Barcelona. Have that balance. Okay, if Alphonso Davies is going to attack, Guerrero stays back. Guerrero is going to attack, Alphonso Davies stays back. So you always have 3 at the back, which can give you at least a numerical, at least you can numerically be equal to the Barcelona players, because you're gonna have a front three of Lamine Yamal, Rafinha, and Robert Lewandowski. You at least want to be able to match up 1v1 at least. Now, ideally, you always want to have one extra defender over attackers, because you want to have a numerical advantage. But the way Bayern Munich want to go about it, they want to be aggressive. At least put yourself in a position that you can play. You can match the amount of attackers Barcelona has. So have that. That's a very, very important. They need to have that understanding. Company needs to, preach to them, emphasize to them. Both of y'all cannot attack. Will put us in dangerous position defensively, and better game management as well. Certain periods that maybe Barcelona might be dominating a little bit. It's okay to drop the back line down 10 yards and not leave yourself as open as you are, because it's this is a more than a difficult opposition. This is not some cakewalk. So yeah, that's some of the keys to the game. I do say I'm gonna favor Barcelona in this one. I think defensively Bayern Munich could get exposed in this one. I think both teams are coming in pretty hot. I think Barcelona so far has had a really good season. The combination of Bayern Munich's defense and Barcelona, how much goals that they've been able to generate this season, how many clear-cut out opportunities. I'm going to favor Barcelona this one, but it's a game that I'm looking very excited to, and it's definitely a heavyweight battle, and these are two teams that are both improved from last season. From what we've seen so far this season, I have no doubts about that. Both of these teams have made a leap from last season.